Hello and welcome to the lessons. Today we are going to learn a new lesson, lesson number 1 from the book Behind. The name of the lesson is The Fun They Had. The Fun They Had is written by Issac Assimov. Issac Assimov, he was an American writer and professor of biochemistry, and he was well known for popular science and science fiction. So the entire story is about computerized homeschooling and what children miss out by not being at school. So before you read the story we shall read is set in the future. You should know that the story is set in the future when books and school as we now have perhaps will not exist. So, coming to the introduction of the lesson, here the author tries to tell us about the classroom and school of the future. There will be everything automated and mechanical teachers. The story describes about the feeling of two students who love the school of the past and they want to be the part of that past school. So they also rejoice at the feeling by being taught by a human being. So, coming to the summary of the lesson, there are basically two central characters in the lesson. Margie, who is a little girl, 11-year-old girl, and Tommy, who is 13 years old. The present story is set in the future, as I before mentioned, when children don't have traditional schools and classroom. Margie, a little girl in the story, makes a diary entry. Tommy found a book. She makes a diary entry and she wrote there, Tommy found a book. And that diary reveals a date which is 21st May 2157 years, showing that the story is set in the future. The book which Tommy found was very old, and it turned very old because as you all know, when books turns very old, it turns into yellowish color. And they found the book very funny because the words were not moving as on the computer screen. So when Tommy took the book over his hand, when Tommy had the book in his hand, he called it a waste of time because after one time reading, it could be thrown away. And the same feeling was with Margie too. She too felt that after one time reading, the book can be thrown away. Tommy found that the book which was found by Tommy was found in attic of his house, in the store of his house, and that book was about a school. So, coming further in the story, something about Margie. So, Margie, she hated her mechanical teacher. Her mechanical teacher was not a human being. Her teacher was not a living being. She hated her mechanical teacher very much. He was an image that flashes on her screen in her study room. He gave her test in geography where in that subject she wasn't doing well and she was also very disappointed. Her failure in geography had invited a counting inspector by Margie's mother. Counting inspector came to her house to repair the computer and traced the problem of to find out the problem of the computer. So her mother had asked the county inspector to come and find what was wrong with the computer as she was not doing well in geography. So he came and repaired the computer. So Margie classroom was next to her bedroom. And before that, Tommy and Margie, they both discussed about the old school and the teachers. They were very fond of old school and the teacher who were humans. And Margie classroom was next to her bedroom where mechanical teacher was waiting for her. For Margie, her school was open every day except Saturdays and Sundays. So the school of Margie was open every day except Saturdays and Sundays. So the mechanical teacher, the screen lit up and started. And the mechanical teacher was going to teach a lesson on arithmetic, in which Margie, she was least interested, and she was sitting in front of the computer, in front of her mechanical teacher, but she was thinking of the past schools and the good old days when kids have a common time and place to study. She was also thinking of the fun they had at school. So here, Margie, before her mechanical teacher, she was thinking about the good times of the past schools. As you all know, the story is set in the future, and she was also thinking of the fun they had at school. So here the story ends. Thank you.